Hi, my name's Jennifer Du, and I'm a winner of Lean Startup Machine New York City. When I first got to Lean Startup Machine, the problem that I was looking to solve involves Asians and alcohol. If you have Asian friends or know seen Asians in a bar, you've probably noticed that sometimes when we drink, we turn a little bit red. I personally have never been able to drink alcohol without turning extremely red and getting really, really sick. I got so sick to the extent that I gave up drinking forever. I started doing some research and realized that this problem affects the majority of Asians around the world. So I came to Lean Startup Machine with this idea of trying to solve this problem of Asian glow. On Friday night, I pitched the idea, formed a killer team, and we got out of the building on Friday night and wanted to test whether or not this problem really existed. We got out of the building and went to Koreatown in New York City and asked people coming in and out of bars whether or not they flush when they drink alcohol. We set our success criteria as 6 out of 10 people, and we got a resounding 8 out of 10 people saying that when they drink alcohol, they indeed flush and turn red when they consume alcohol. We also learned that people feel really embarrassed about the flushing. So that was a good thing to know going back as we went to the Javelin board and decided our next test. The next experiment we decided to run was testing whether or not Asians who flush when they drink alcohol dislike the fact that they flush. We set our success criteria to be 6 out of 10. And so we went back out to the streets of New York and asked people, one, whether or not they flushed, and two, whether or not they disliked it. And we found that only 4 out of 10 people said that they have a problem and dislike flushing. The people who said no happened to be all above the age of 30, and the people who said yes were below the age of 30. So we realized here in this test that age really matters. We went back to the Javelin board, and our next test was just asking Asian flushers between the ages of 20 and 30 whether or not they disliked flushing, and if they disliked it enough to actually purchase a solution to prevent flushing. We decided to take it one step further. So we went back out to the streets of New York on Saturday afternoon and asked a ton of people between the ages of 20 and 30 whether or not they flushed and disliked flushing enough to purchase a solution. And we didn't tell them what that solution would be. We just said, what if there's a solution out there? Would you be interested in purchasing it? And we found that 6 out of 10 people, which was our success criteria, actually said that they would in fact be interested in purchasing a solution, and they dislike flushing enough to do so. We also learned that from our testing, people didn't like taking any medicines. So we knew that something like a vitamin-based pill was out of the question. We also learned that by Googling ourselves and Asian flush, that there were actually competitors out in this space already who offered a vitamin solution to solve this problem. And we realized that maybe one of the reasons why they weren't so successful or better known is because they're taking a medicine-based approach, and people find pills are really scary. They don't like to take pills that are unnecessary. Back to the Javelin board, experiment number 4. We again targeted Asian flushers between the ages of 20 and 30 and targeted those who disliked flushing and said our solution would be an all-natural pre-gaming drink. So a drink that you drink about an hour before you consume alcohol. And we put up a website MVP and launched a landing page and allowed people to actually purchase this drink online. And we put some Google AdWords behind it and ran an experiment overnight to see if we'd get any traction on it. And we defined that success would be perhaps 1 purchase. So the next morning, on Sunday, we looked at our results online and found that sadly no one purchased the product. But we got over 360 views, unique views on it. About 20 people signed up and 5 people liked the page. So we thought that that was actually positive feedback, and we realized that people probably don't like to buy canned beverages online. It's not the right kind of platform or vehicle to sell a canned beverage. So on Sunday morning, we ran our 5th and final experiment in the streets of New York City, trying to actually sell our beverage to 20 and 30-year-old Asian flushers who dislike flushing enough to actually purchase a solution. And we printed out this awesome, sexy-looking poster with a can of our drink called Before Metabolic Drink. And we asked people if they'd be interested in buying it. And that is the day that my life totally changed, because we got our first dollar. We got someone to invest $2 and towards the development of this drink. And $2 doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is quite hard, especially in New York City. Try asking someone for $1 in New York City. It's really, really difficult. This is valid. It validated our hypothesis that, one, this is a real problem and that people would actually pay for a solution. So we presented our results on that Sunday afternoon, and we ended up winning Lean Startup Machine New York City. And it was one of the best weekends of my life, and it dramatically changed the course of my life forever. Because flash forward 7 months later, I'm still working on Before Metabolic Drink, and I recently raised about $20,000 to fund a first round of R&D. Right now, we're testing a few components that we think might go in the drink and how effective they are at preventing the redness that occurs when Asians drink alcohol. And I just spoke to one of the test subjects yesterday, and he told me that 2 out of the 3 components that we're testing right now worked on him. So I'm really excited to see how the rest of R&D goes, and we're hoping to get to final prototype within 3 to 6 months. After that, we are going to launch a Kickstarter-like campaign to raise capital to fund our first year of operations, and during which time we will test Before Metabolic Drink in various test markets in California, where there's a large population of young Asian drinkers. So our goal during that first year is to sell 200,000 cans, and I think if we do that, we'll really validate, 1, that we are making something that people care about, care enough to buy. 2, we're solving a problem. And 3, we actually have a market interested in this product. Thereafter, we'd like to nationalize distribution to all over the US and then take the product to Asia, because that's where all the Asians are at. If you had asked me a year ago, I never would have thought that I would have founded my own startup and be working on that right now. And I have Lean Startup Machine to thank for that. I'm so happy that I decided to participate in Lean Startup Machine, and it truly changed the course of my life forever. And it gave me the knowledge and power and belief that I could really do something great.